Good morning, everybody. It is 8:30 in the morning here in sunny, breezy Bergen County. Taking a little trip around town, heading down to Fort Lee. I live up in the northeastern part of Bergen County, along the Palisades Parkway, and I'm heading down about 25 minutes south of here to Fort Lee, where I used to live, and going there to meet up with a friend and grab some coffee. He also has a package for me that was accidentally delivered to my old address, so he was so kind to have picked it up, and I'm going to grab it from him. Had an amazing weekend with the family, and did some hiking, did some walking around the beautiful town of Cold Spring, which I've spoken to you about before. We went to Fonstok State Park, where we did the hiking. It was beautiful. You can check out my Instagram at Magic of Motorcycles on Instagram, and I'll post pictures of the Fonstok. It's really an amazing park. If you're ever up in the New York area, that is, I guess it's Fonstok, New York. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's only 15 minutes east of Cold Spring, New York. Not east, west of Cold Spring, New York, off of Route 301. And 301, for those who have not been on this route, it is an amazing road. Twisties and turns and ups and downs, and just a perfect place for a motorcycle. Unfortunately, I was in a four-wheel cage, but fortunately I was with my family, so all is good. So I bought a motorcycle about 13-14 months ago. Why? I don't know. I think I might have been having a midlife crisis. Any of you in that situation, in your early 40s, late 40s, early 50s, mid 50s, and you just feel like you have to do something? See, I got my motorcycle license, I think I was 40 years old, and I didn't have a motorcycle then. I had some scooters, because I was living in Fort Lee, and it was just an easy way to get around. Fort Lee is right on the border of Manhattan. You just take the GW Bridge over there. GW Bridge goes from Manhattan to Fort Lee, and I was working in Manhattan at the time, so I used to just hop on my Vespa, then Piaggio, and then I would head over to my office, which was in Columbus Circle, for my old job. Then I moved to northeastern part of Bergen County from Fort Lee, and I don't know, I just was compelled to get on a motorcycle. I didn't feel like the scooters were doing justice for me anymore, because I wasn't going into the city, and I wanted to go places and not have to feel like the wind was blowing me around. So I started researching all these different motorcycles. I looked at Harleys. The first motorcycle I looked at was the 883 Harley Davidson, and you know, it's a nice bike, but I couldn't picture myself, after sitting on it, riding it for more than an hour. I wanted to get on a bike where I can ride. Then I started looking into what was the next bike? I started looking into crotch rockets, which was just stupid for me. I mean, I love those bikes, don't get me wrong, but for me, I'm not a speed demon. So I got on there, and I was hunched over in the riding position, and didn't make sense. Then I said, okay, let me take a look at the Triumph America. It's a big cruiser, pretty awesome, but this is my first bike. That bike is super heavy, man, and again, I couldn't picture myself riding in that seat more than an hour and a half to 2 hours. It was comfortable, but not the right bike for me. And then the salesperson said to me, why do you want a bike? I said, I want to get places, and I want to go camping and check out adventures, and if I want to go off-road, it wouldn't handle badly off-road. So he goes, you have to look at the Triumph Tiger. I was like, the Triumph Tiger? Okay. I sit on this bike, and I felt like I was sitting in the bike. It was the right fit for the right person. But then I had to convince my wife that I'm going to get a motorcycle. You have to be honest with you, it didn't take much convincing. I just said, I'm going to get a motorcycle. And she said, if you can afford it and you can do it, then you do it. And that's one of the reasons why I love my wife. Besides her being the most amazing mom, you know, she's just great. So, midlife crisis. Yeah. At 46 years old, I buy this motorcycle. How many of you at this age bought a motorcycle for the first time? Right? Anyway. Yeah, I feel like riding the motorcycle makes me feel a little bit younger. Stresses me out at times, but it does. It makes me feel a little bit younger. So I guess having a midlife crisis, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. I take precautions. I take advanced riding courses. I practice in the park, in the parking lots. I take whatever precautions I can take to make sure that I'm going to come home. Because that's the ultimate goal. So let me introduce myself again. My name is Kirsch, and I talk life. Life on a motorcycle, life off of a motorcycle. You will also be seeing me do some occasional magic, whether it's by myself or with some people. I've been hesitant approaching people during this pandemic, although it's lightening up over here. And that's what I do. I'll talk travel, I'll talk food, and I would love your support. Please subscribe, and also if you want to see upcoming videos, go ahead and when you hit subscribe, highlight that bell right next to it. Watch the whole video. My videos should not be more than 15 minutes anyway. I'm going to keep my videos short. I'm going to try to release them once a week. YouTube is a fun project for me. I actually find editing relaxing. And I'm new to all this. I'm new to editing. I learned how to edit during this pandemic. Otherwise, I had no idea how to do it. Technology sometimes intimidates me. But sometimes you have to grab the bull by its horns. And that's what I did. And that's what I'm doing. You know, I also think that it's important to try and not to worry about failing, because, you know, how do you succeed if you don't fail at some things? Makes you work harder. I tell that to my son Jacob. As soon as Jacob finds difficulty in something, he tends to stop, quit, put it on the back burner. And I try to encourage him to say, hey, when it's times like this, you have to work harder. Don't let these mishaps bring you down. Or use that feeling of being down to become more motivated. I use the example, see, I'm a magician by trade. I toured around the nation performing for schools and for corporations, and I practice a lot. And magic is not easy. It comes easier to some people, but not to me. I gotta work hard at it. I tell them, I try to work on a piece of sleight of hand, and it sometimes takes me months, even years sometimes, to perfect something. And I'm never fully satisfied. So I'm always trying to figure out how to make it better. that's my story. Dealing with midlife crisis and trying to do the best I can. Upcoming events, I don't know. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. If I could do it, I'll do it. I definitely want to start getting some finding some people and doing magic too, and showing you what I do. If you look at my last moto vlog of solo camping, I'll try to post the video up in the screen. You'll see me doing some magic at a campground to myself. That's how I practice. This is the town of Englewood Cliffs. You can't tell, but this is they call it the Millionaire Mile, I think, something like that. But the houses on the other side over here are spectacular. A lot of famous people live there, and very successful people. I do not live there. I guess I'm successful in my own way. This restaurant over here is the Brownstone, famous pancake house here in Jersey. Actually, I used to do magic at their other location on Sundays. I used to walk from table to table while people were indulging in their pancakes and waffles. I would be doing magic and mental effects, or my magic would make people mental. I stopped working there as my time became very busy with private performances, and now during this pandemic there are not many private performances, but hopefully they'll start to come back. Englewood Cliffs, a little bit further up the road, turns into Fort Lee. Fort Lee was a big immigration hub during World War II. A lot of Japanese moved there. I think it was mostly Italian and Eastern European Jewish people that were living there. And then Japanese people started moving in during World War II. Or after World War II, I should say. And then probably over the last 25 years, a massive Korean population came in there. I'm not sure if the GoPro picks it up, but you'll see a lot of Korean signs. That's a Korean barbecue place. Not sure if you saw that. And you know, it's like a real melting pot. It's also a traveler, a commuter's town, because it's only 5 minutes away from Manhattan. So a lot of people move here, stay here for a few years, and then head out. I would have moved here permanently. I liked it here a lot, and it was very convenient as far as getting to the city, being able to walk to restaurants and bars and supermarkets, having parks all over the place. But being a commuter's town, it lacked, I felt, in community, and I wanted to move to a place where I felt more community. That's why I moved to the town where I was at. The schools were okay here, pretty decent in Fort Lee, but I wanted to find places where I felt my kids can thrive a little bit more. Not to say that the kids here don't thrive. I think they do fine. I think the schools are fine here. I guess you're always looking to do better for your kids. Anyway, feel free to leave a comment. Make sure you hit that like button. Please subscribe. And hey, if you feel like you're going through a midlife crisis, you're not alone. Okay? Reach out, tell us your story. Love to hear it. That's it. Take care. Remember to follow me at Magic and Motorcycles on Instagram.